Can you all see the screen?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. So in the last lecture, we were discussing about some scheduling algorithms. We have completed FCFS, that is first come first served, then shortest of first, and SRTF, that is shortest remaining time first. Now let's see other scheduling algorithms. One is round robin and another one is priority. Okay. So first we will complete the numerical part of all the algorithms, and then we will discuss in the theory, like when it is to be used, what are the advantages and disadvantages and all those things. Uh, Okay, recording start हुआ?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So next algorithm, round robin. Now this algorithm, you have the criteria as time quantum. Okay, that means some value of time quantum will be already specified in your question, and you have to run your process exactly for this time quantum only. Okay, and it is a kind of preemptive scheduling algorithm. That means you have to execute your process for the given time quantum and then stop it, preempt it, and then you have to load another process for execution. Okay, remaining calculation and everything is as usual. Okay, only difference is you have to run your process for the given time quantum only. Now when you are drawing the Gantt chart for this particular algorithm, you have to maintain two things. One is the Gantt chart that you are drawing, okay, and another one that you have to maintain is the ready queue. You need to maintain a queue that you call it as your ready queue, so that also needs to be maintained. Okay, so let's start the scheduling the jobs. So first, at the zero instant of the CPU, how many processes you have in your ready queue? Okay, so at the zero instant, how many processes you have in the ready queue? Put sorry, how many processes are given? Put the processes in the ready queue first. So zero instant पे कितने process है आपके पास? Yes, you have only one process, so put that process in the ready queue. Okay, you will understand its importance of using the ready queue later. You have only P1, so at the 0th instant P1 will be executed, but P1 you have to execute only for 2 seconds because the quantum is given as 2, so you have to execute only for the 2 seconds. So you are executing for the 2 seconds. Now in the 2 seconds, what are all the other processes you have in your system? Okay, P1 was there, you have removed P1 and you have scheduled it, but you have executed only 2 seconds of P1 process. That means the burst time was from 5, it became 3 because 2 seconds are already executed here. Okay, now in the 2 seconds, what are all the other processes in your system? You can see P2 has arrived, put that P2 in the ready queue. Then in the 2 seconds, you also see that P3 is also arrived. Okay. Now, after completing the execution of 2 seconds of P1 process, you have to shift it back to the ready queue. Okay, you have to shift it back to the ready queue because you want to load another process in the processor. You are shifting this process to the back to the ready queue. So always remember, first you have to load your new processes in your ready queue, then you have to shift the remaining part of your process into the ready queue. Okay, now you see next let's execute next process in the queue. Next process is P2. So P2 you are executing. Again you have to execute only for 2 seconds. Okay, because time quantum is 2. So you will be executing it for 2 seconds. That means आपका so here it will become 4. Okay, so it will become 4. Now again in the 4th instant you see how many processes are available in your processor. So in the 4th instant arrival time, if you see, you have P4 in your system already. You have P4 in your system already. Okay, and push this P2, remaining part of P2. P2 is to be executed for 4 seconds, but only you have executed for 2 seconds. So push the remaining part of P2 back into the ready queue. Okay, you removed it from here, executed it here. At the 4th second, you already have P4 process in your queue, sorry, in your process table. So you put it here and move the remaining part of P2 process into your ready queue. Now next process which you have to execute in the ready queue, that is P3. So P3 again you are executing exactly for 2 seconds. So 4 plus 2, that will be 6. Okay. So now P3 execution time is 0. So there is no need to push P3 back into the ready queue because it has exhausted its burst time. So P3 को वापस रखने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. Okay, now at the 6th instant, you see, do you have any new process in your system? In the 6th instant, we don't have any process. अगर कोई 5th या 6th instant में कोई process होता तो वो आपको पहले यहाँ पे load करना पड़ता. But you don't have any process, so you need not load any process. You just push this P3 back here, but it has executed, I mean, completed its execution time, so you no need to push P3 also. Okay, so you can remove the P3 process from your queue. P3 को आप remove कर सकते हो. So next, which process you have in the ready queue? P1. P1 again you have to execute only for 2 seconds. Okay, so 6 plus 2, that will be 8. So you are executing for 2 seconds, so remaining time will be 1. Okay, again push it back to your ready queue. At the 8th instant, do you have any processes, new process? No, you don't have. So you have to push this back into the ready queue. So you are removing this and then you are pushing the remaining part here. Okay, now next P4 process. So P4 process, ideally you should execute for 2 seconds, but the burst time itself is 1 second. So you are executing P4 process for 1 second only, because process itself is saying I want only 1 second, and CPU will not allot 2 seconds and waste its 1 unit of time. It will be, we have to maximize the CPU utilization. So you will be using the CPU only for 1 instant. Okay, so इसका भी काम complete हो गया है P4 का. So you remove the P4 process also from your queue. That is also you are removing. Okay, so P4 is also removed. Now what are the left out processes? P2 and P1. So next, which process you have in the ready queue? You have P2 process, and how much time it will be executing? It will be executing for 2 seconds, and remaining time is also 2 seconds. So it will be executing for 2 seconds up to 11 seconds, and its burst time will also be 0 now. Okay, so there is no remaining part. अगर कुछ remaining part होता है तो वापस आपको queue में push करना है, but you don't have any remaining part, so you are just removing that process, that is marked as completed. Okay, next process is, you are left with only one process P1, and that also its execution time remaining is only 1 unit. So you need not run the cycle for 2 units, you can run only for 1 unit. So this P1 is also here. Now your ready queue is empty, that means there are no more jobs to execute with the processor. Okay, is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, always maintain a ready queue. Without ready queue, it will be tough for you to do the round robin. After certain time, like after all the processes are in the ready queue, then it will be quite easy for you. Okay, but initially maintain a ready queue. Okay, now let's calculate all the other parameters as usual. So completion time is nothing but, in the Gantt chart you see where it is the last occurrence of your process, and on the right hand side what is the time given, so that you have to note down. So P1 process, it has occurred here. So what is the time it has completed? 12. Next, P2 process, it has completed at the 11th instant. P3 process, so it has completed at the 6th instant. P4,
9.
9. Right? Now next, what is the formula for turnaround time?
CT minus 80. Completion time
minus arrival time. Good. So completion minus arrival. So 12 minus 0, you have 12 here. Then 11 minus 1, you have 10. 6 minus
4.
2, that is 4. 9 minus 4, that is 5. Okay. Next, waiting time का formula क्या है? Turn around time minus burst time. ठीक है, तो टर्न अराउंड टाइम इज 12. 12 माइनस, take the original burst time. Always when you are solving numerical on paper, make sure that you highlight like what is ever the original burst time, you put it in different color or whatever, so that you avoid the confusion. Okay, so 12 minus 5, you will have your waiting time here as 7. Then 10 minus 4,
6.
6. 4
2.
minus 2, 2, and
4.
5 minus 0, 5. Sorry, 4. ओके, नाउ रिस्पॉन्स टाइम का फॉर्मूला क्या है? रिस्पॉन्स टाइम, so it is nothing but whenever the difference between the processor received by the process for the first time minus the arrival time. So P1 process, when it received the processor for the first time, 0 instant, and its arrival time is also 0, so response time will be 0. Okay, for the P2 process, it got the CPU for the first time at 2 seconds, and its arrival time is 1, so 2 minus 1, that is 1. Next, for the P3 process, you got your processor first time for the 4th instant, and arrival time is 2. So 4 minus 2, that is 2. Okay. And for the P4 process, it has got the processor at the 8th instant, and it has arrived at the 4th instant. So 8 minus 4 is 4. ठीक है? So this is how your response time and ready queue and everything is maintained in your round robin scheduling algorithm. So always pay attention what is the time quantum given, and always maintain a ready queue. Okay, now put the process first. Whatever processes you have in your process table, put the process first, then you move process, then you switch the context. Okay, then you move your process which is currently executing to the processor. Now यहाँ पे यही mistake हो जाती है कि P1 पहले डाल देते हो, बाद में P2 P3 डालते हो. This will become a issue. Okay, you may however get the last time as same. Sometimes it happens कि सब कुछ आप execute करो, you will get last execution time will be almost same. Okay, but you have to be careful, because आप कोई भी algorithm execute करो, you are executing the burst times only. Okay, so you will get the total of burst time only you will be getting in the last instant. So you feel that your numerical is correct, but it will not be correct, because you are taking intermediate times for calculating waiting time and turnaround time. Okay, now one more question that will be asked in this type of algorithm is context switches. Okay, how many context switches occur when you are executing the following sequence of processes? Okay, in that case what you have to do is whenever you are switching from one process to another process, that you are considering it as a context switch. So here one context switch, here another one, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so total how many context switch, the number of times you are switching the process, P1 से P2 हुआ, फिर P2 से P3, like this you are switching the context, that you call it as context switching. Okay, and you already know what happens in context switching. You are saving the current state and reloading the new state. Okay, so in this example the current context switches are 6. Okay, simply calculate this way and leave the first and last, because in first phase you are not switching anything, you are starting with P1. Before that CPU was idle only. Okay, and after the last process execution, the process has terminated, no new process is loaded. That means there also there was no context switch. So whenever there is a context switch, that is saving the current state and reloading the new process, that only we consider as a context switch. And here you have your 6 context switches. Okay, is it clear, everyone? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Uh, Next algorithm, that is priority scheduling algorithm. Okay, so here the criteria for scheduling is priority, and this also mode it will be preemptive mode. Of course, priority you can go for non-preemptive mode also. This, let's take the preemptive one. Okay, once you are comfortable solving all the preemptive cases, non-preemptive are quite simple. Okay, you need not stop in between anywhere, because you see in all the preemptive cases, in the previous examples also, we are executing the processes not for its complete duration. Here it is for 2 seconds. In the previous example we were executing only for 1 second. Okay, but if you are going for the non preemptive case, then you have to execute the process to its completion. मतलब जितना burst time दिया है वो complete कर देना है आपको. ठीक है. Now in priority scheduling, you will be given another metric or another parameter also, that is called as priority. Okay, so normally the priority, it will be given like low the number, high the priority, or high the number, high the priority. The number, the specification will be given for you. Okay, so basing on that, we have to complete again this particular numerical. So here I am specifying that the high number is having high priority. Okay, I have given the specification like this, but it depends. It is like specified in your question also. High number, high priority. Ideally उल्टा होता है in its base system. If you see low the number, high the priority, ऐसा होता है, but एक variation मैं आपको बता रही हूँ. Let's consider this case. Okay, again we have to get started with the Gantt chart. So you are in the 0th instant. Okay, so first in the 0th instant, you see how many processes are there in your system. You have a P1 process and only one process. So when you have only one process, there is no question of any competition. Okay, so you are executing your P1 process. Yes, जिसका भी mic on है, please mute yourself. Okay, so you are executing your P1 process. Again preemption है, तो always preemptive algorithm go for execution of only 1 second unless it's round robin. Okay, so P1 you have executed for 1 second. Now in the first instant of time in your ready queue, you have currently P1 process. Then in the first instant of time, you also have your P2 process that has arrived into the system. So P2 is also there. Now when you have two processes, you have to check the priority. So priority of P1 given is 10, P2 priority given is 20, and I have told you high number, high priority. So high number here it is 20, so P2 is having high priority. So P2 is having high priority. I am supposed to execute P2 process, and I have to execute again for 1 second only. Okay, so P1 process I have executed for 1 second, so burst time here will be 4. P2 process I have executed for 1 second, burst time here will be 3. Okay, again at the second instant, I have P1 process in my queue, P2 process, because they have not completed its execution, and in the second instant, I also have third process in my system, that is P3. Now check the priority of all the three processes. So if you see, P3 is having high priority. So now I will be executing P3 process. Okay, again I'll be executing it only for the 1 second. So burst time -1 करो, 1 हो जाएगा. ठीक है, at the third instant I have currently in my system P1, P2 and P3, and no other process has arrived till third instant. So again out of these three, which process is having highest priority? Which process is having highest priority?
P3.
P3 only. So P3 I am executing it for one more instant, that is up to fourth instant. So its burst time will now be 0. So now you can at the fourth instant, after completion of P3, you can remove it from the queue. Now you have P1 and P2 in your queue. And at the fourth instant, if you see, P4 process is also arrived. So P4 is also arrived. Now check the priority between P1, P2 and P4. So P1, P2 and P4. P4 is having highest priority. So again you execute P4 process. So P4 is executed for 1 instant and its burst time will be 0. Okay, so now you are in the 5th instant, you have P1 and P2 in your ready queue. Okay, P4 is already executed, so you are removing from the queue. So in the P1 and P2, which is having high priority, P2 process is having high priority, so you can, and no other process is also arrived in the 5th instant, so you can go with P2. P2 you are executing for 1 second. Okay, you will be executing for 1 second, so it will be 6 here. Okay, again in the ready queue you have P1 and P2. Okay, so in the 6th instant you don't have any other process also, so still again you will be continuing executing with the P2 only up to 7th instant. Okay, so your burst time here will be 1 now, P1, P2. Again at the 7th instant you don't have any process in the process table. Okay, so again you execute P2 only because it is having high priority. So P2 is executed for one more instant. Now it will be 8th instant and its burst time is 0. That means now you can remove your P2 from your ready queue. Okay, now you have left with only one process, that is P1. So what is the remaining time of P1? 4 seconds. Again you can do it like this step by step, and if you don't have any other process coming, you can directly execute your P1 process completely and you can execute up to 12 seconds क्योंकि 4 उसका burst time remaining है, so you can execute up to 12 seconds. Now in the 12th second you don't have any process remaining in your ready queue. Okay, so this way is also possible. Now here I have taken 3 steps for P2. With some practice you can directly write it, देख के आपको पता चल जाता है. So 5 to 8 you can represent in one block only. That doesn't make any difference in calculation of these parameters. Okay, is it clear everyone?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now let's calculate the completion time. P1 का completion time क्या है?
12.
12. P2 का यहाँ से देखो लास्ट कहाँ पे आया उसका राइट हैंड साइड. P2 8,
8.
P3 4, P4 5. Right? Next, turnaround time. Turnaround time again completion minus arrival time, so that you can calculate quickly. Waiting time is turnaround time minus burst time. Again quickly calculate, you will get values
7300.
0 and response time is first occurrence
000.
0 0. थर्ड प्रोसेस
00.
1 आएगा ना थर्ड प्रोसेस. तो थर्ड स्टार्ट कब हुआ है?
मैम 2 पे स्टार्ट हो रहा है.
ओके सॉरी, थर्ड 2 पे स्टार्ट हो रहा है, सो इट विल बी 0 एंड फॉर
Zero.
दी फोर्थ प्रोसेस 4 और 4 0. ठीक है. So you see response time here, it is quite minimized. That means as and when the processors came, and if it is having high priority, then that process is given importance and you are executing that particular process. Again, whenever you have two processes or having same priority, go with the arrival time. Okay, whichever is having the least arrival time, go with that one. And in case that is FCFS हो जाएगा फिर वो. And in case if you are having arrival time also same, then go with the process ID. Whichever process is having least process ID, you can go with that process ID. Okay, so clear priority part? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes.
so these are the various variations that will be asked, like that can be asked in your exams, like theory or competitive exams as well. Okay, I have mostly focused on preemptive part only, because in the non-preemptive, once you are doing this one, non-preemptive part will be quite easy. मतलब जो start किया है वो आपको complete करना है. That's it. There is no question of stopping. Like अगर P1 start किया है तो you execute P1, you don't worry about the priority, because 0 instant में वो process आ गया तो that you have started. Okay, then after completion of P1, then you check the priority and then you take any one process complete to its execution. So उस तरीके से करना है, so that you can do it quite easily. Now another one interesting question that I have found, where you have combination of CPU and IO. Okay, so when we were discussing that you are long-term scheduler, you have short-term scheduler, you have all the jobs which you are giving to your CPU, they must be in combination of CPU and IO burst. Then only you can utilize your processor effectively. Okay, so there was this question given. Of course, there are so many concepts involved in this one. थोड़ा सा trick. Arrival time, priority is also given. That means priority scheduling भी करना है. Preemptive तो है ही, mode is preemptive, and here the combination of CPU burst is given, IO and again CPU. That means your process is first executing sometime with the CPU, then it is going back to do some IO operation, and again this process is reverting back to CPU. ओके, सो फर्स्ट टाइम सीपीयू के साथ इतने सेकेंड्स के लिए एग्जीक्यूट हो रहे हैं सारे प्रोसेसेस, देन दे आर गोइंग बैक टू डू सम आईओ, अगेन दे आर कमिंग बैक एंड एग्जीक्यूटिंग द सीपीयू. Now here the question was given to calculate the completion time, and also you were supposed to calculate CPU idleness and usage. Okay, these were the questions that were given to calculate. Okay, so let's see how you can do this numerical. Yes, please mute yourself. Okay, to everyone, please mute yourself unless you have something important to discuss in lecture. Okay, so now let's start with the Gantt chart of this particular process. So if you carefully observe, it is priority scheduling given. Now let's start again with the 0th instant. Okay, 0th instant, how many processes you have in your system? In the 0th instant, you have only P1 process. So when you have only one process, there is no need to check other criteria like priority or whatever. एक ही process है तो match I mean there is no competition. So you are executing P1 process and you are executing for one instant. You are executing for one instant. Okay, so once you have executed for the first instant P1 process, its burst time, here the CPU is given, actually it is burst time. Okay, so this burst time, first burst time is completed, it's considered as 0, like it is already completed its execution. Now at the first instant, do you have any process in your system? The first instant, you don't have any process which wants for the CPU. Okay, and in the same way, P1 is also completed its execution and it has started its IO operation. That means from here it is executing the IO operation. Yeah. Just a minute. Okay. So P1 is now executing its IO operation. Okay. So for the one instant of your time, your CPU is idle, because you don't have any process to execute with the CPU and P1 is executing its IO operations. So 1 unit, your CPU is idle. Now in the second instant, if you see P2 process has arrived in the system, you have only P2 process which wants to execute with the CPU. So you can start executing your P2 process. So when you start executing your P2 process for 1 second, your CPU burst time will now be 2 here. 1 second is already executed. Okay. Now in the third instant, you have P2 process already in your system. P3 process is also arrived. Okay. And its priority is 1. Okay. Its priority is 1. And it is already specified low the priority number, high the priority of the process. So here you have to execute P3 process. So you are going for execution of P3. Again you are executing it for 1 second and the burst time you reduce it by 1. Now in the fourth instant in your processor you have P2, P3 and P4 is also arrived. Sorry, P4 was already arrived here only. Okay, but its priority is high, so we have given importance to P3. Okay, now P2, P3, P4, which is having the high priority. Again, P3 is having high priority, so you execute the P3 process only. Okay, you come back to the fifth instant, this process is completed, and now P3 process will be starting its IO operation. P3 will be starting its IO operation. Okay, so at the fifth instant, you have only P2 process and P4 process in your ready queue. Okay, so P2 process, if you see, it is having 3 priority and P4 process is having 4 priority. So which one is to be executed? Which one is to be executed?
P2.
P2 is to be executed. So P2 again you are executing for one instance. So your burst time will be reduced by 1. Again you have in your system P2 and P4. Now if you carefully observe, your IO for the first process was for 5 seconds. So here from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like the IO has started here 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. That means up to 6th second P1 was doing its IO. Now it has completed its IO and it is back into the ready queue. Okay, so it is back into the ready queue. Now along with P2, P4 you also have P1 in the ready queue. ओके एंड उसका कितना बर्स्ट टाइम अभी रिमेनिंग है यहाँ पे 3 सेकेंड्स रिमेनिंग है. सो नाउ यू हैव टू टेक डिसीजन बिटवीन दीज 3. So P2, P4 and P1, which is having high priority? P2, P4 and P1. सबसे ज़्यादा priority किसकी है?
P1.
P1 की है. So you have to execute P1. This is little tricky, so notice carefully the burst times and IO times how they are changing. So P1 you are executing, so IO it's already completed. P1 you are executing for 1 second, so remaining time is 2. Now you have P2, P4 and P1 in your ready queue at the 7th instant. Keep a track of IO of P2 also. P2 का भी IO हमको track करना पड़ेगा. Sorry, P3 का IO हमको ट्रैक करना पड़ेगा. सो 1 इंस्टेंट यहाँ से स्टार्ट हुआ है P3 का IO. सो 1 इंस्टेंट, 2 इंस्टेंट, 1 more instant is left out. So in the 7th instant, which process is having high priority? 7th instant में P1, P4, P2 तीनों में से वापस से P1 का ही priority हाई है. तो again at the 8th instant you are executing P1. So here you will be having your burst time reduced by 1. Now in your processor you have P2, P4, P1 and if you carefully see 1, 2 and 3 up to here P3 also completed its IO operation. Okay, so P3 is also added into your ready queue. Okay, now you have all the 4 processes. Now out of the 4 processes which is having high priority? All the 4 process में से high priority किसका है? इसका IO complete हो गया है. ठीक है. So P1 is having, P3 is having high priority. So you are supposed to execute P3 process for 1 second, now up to 9. If you execute this, it will become 0. Now your P3 process is completely executed. You can remove this process, or it has gone to the terminated state. Okay, so in the 9th instant, you have your process P2, P4 and P1 in your ready queue. Okay. Now which process is to be executed? P2,
P1.
P4. वापिस से P1 ही आपको execute करना है. So you are executing P1 process again for 1 instant. So P1 process now will become 0. So in the 10th instant you will be having P2 and P4 in your system. Okay. So and you are removing P1 also because उसके सारे complete हो गए. CPU, IO, CPU, everything burst time is completed. Now out of P2 and P4, P2 is having high priority, so you will be executing P2 process. P2 you are executing for 1 second, that is at the 11th second you have only your P4 in your queue. Now if you see your P2 after completion of execution, its IO is supposed to start. So IO will be starting here. P2 का IO यहाँ पे start होगा. ठीक है. नाउ अभी आपके पास क्यू में कितने प्रोसेसेस है 11th इंस्टेंट पे? ओनली वन प्रोसेस P4 एंड P4 का हमने अभी तक एग्जीक्यूशन स्टार्ट नहीं किया है. सो यू विल बी एग्जीक्यूटिंग P4 फॉर 2 seconds. Okay, if you want you can execute for 1 second also, like the way I am showing. स्टेप बाय स्टेप भी आप कर सकते हो, एंड इफ यू आर हैविंग लिटिल प्रैक्टिस यू कैन डायरेक्टली टेक 2 steps. That is up to 13 P4 will be executed. So your okay, and in the 13th instant from here your IO operation will be started for P4 process. P4 का IO यहाँ पे start होगा. So now you are in the 13th instant and you will be taking 3 units to complete IO of your P2 process. So 1 unit is done here, 1 unit is done here, and you require 1 more unit to complete IO of P2, and P4 it started its IO operation. That means this cycle here is idle. This time is idle for your CPU. पता चला? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now in the 14th instant, we are in the 14th instant. Here we are. Okay. Okay. In the 14th instant, your P2 is completed its IO operation. Now in the ready queue, you have only P2 process. So P2 process, only one process you have, so you can obviously execute that process. P2 process is executing only for 1 instant. That means you are in the 15th second and your P2 process is completed its execution. So you are removing that process also from the ready queue. Okay, again if you carefully see, P4 requires 4 units of IO. How many units have already completed? 1, 2. 2 units have already completed. It requires 4 units to complete. That means 16th तक एक unit and 17th up to here 1 unit. So these 2 units also CPU will be remaining idle because we don't have any other process to execute. Now in the 17th instant, P4 is completed its IO operation. Now it can go for your CPU operation, and you don't have any other process also in competition, so there is no need to check any priority. Okay, so you will be executing your P4 for 1 instant, that is 1 instant of CPUs का बाकी है, so it will be executing. Now you see your ready queue is empty, so you don't have any more processes. So this is how the Gantt chart can be prepared when this kind of question is asked. Is it clear? Gantt chart preparation.
Yes.
Okay. Now carefully calculate. Question was given to calculate the completion time. So calculate the completion time. P1 process. See from the right hand side, P1 आपको last occurrence कब हुआ है वो देखो और उसका time आपको लिखना है. Okay, so from the last if I see P1 has occurred here, तो इसका completion time क्या है यहाँ पे 10. ठीक है. Now next P2 process, from here if you take, so last it has completed here, that is 15. Next P3 process, so last it has completed here 9. P4 process, last it has completed here, that is 18. So this is how you can calculate your completion time of the processes. ठीक है. Now another question that was given, that is to calculate CPU idleness and usage. Okay, so totally how many slots you have? 18 slots है. So CPU idleness अगर आपको calculate करना है, so how much time CPU was idle and what is the utilization, or you can say usage of CPU. Okay, so how many slots you have? Free slots कितने हैं? 1 2 3 4. Total you have 4 free slots of 18 slots. So 4 by 18 का जो भी होगा, this will be the idleness. CPU was idle for this amount of time. And usage, so 14 slots, that is utilization, and 14 by total slots, that is 18. So 14 by 18, that is the utilization. Is it clear?
Yes.
Any questions? So I hope you people can solve any numerical if given on scheduling algorithms. Okay, I'll assume so, and later on I'll be sharing you some extra numericals for practicing. Okay, so in the last 2 lectures we have completed our 5 scheduling algorithms, that was FCFS, SJF, SRTF, round robin and priority. And this was one just example, a little bit tough example. इतना tough generally नहीं पूछते, इसमें सारे variations आ गए हैं. Okay, but in case if asked you, then you can do it like this. Okay. Now next we'll see little bit theory about all the scheduling algorithms. Theory in the sense what are the advantages, disadvantages, and where it is used, all those things. So if I talk about FCFS, so it is, you know, that is first come first served, and this is quite a simple example where you have 3 processes and arrival time is not given, that means you can assume it as 0, and the burst time is given as first process is 24, another 2 processes are 3. So it is quite easy for you to calculate. The first process is executing for 24 seconds, and P2 is executing for 3 seconds, P3 is executing for 3 seconds. Okay, and if you see the waiting time of the processes, P1 प्रोसेस 0 सेकेंड पे ही सारे प्रोसेसेस आए हैं, तो P1 का वेटिंग टाइम 0 होगा. P2 it came at 0th instant but it had started executing at 24th instant, so उसका वेटिंग टाइम 24 होगा. P3 का 27 होगा. You can draw the tables and also verify it. So average waiting time if you see it is 17. Okay, now taking the same processes into consideration, just change the order of execution. Instead of executing P1, P2, P3, you execute in this order: P2, P3 and P1. Okay, now you see the average waiting time after changing the order will be quite low. Okay, so in the previous case it was 17, the average waiting time, and in this case after changing the order it's 3. Okay, so this effect is called as convoy effect. That means your short processes were waiting behind the longer processes, and in turn that was resulting in the high waiting time. Okay, so that effect is called as convoy effect. Again, this is one problem or one disadvantage we can say, because FCFS is not a preemptive algorithm also. So if any high burst time task comes first, if we have to give priority or importance to that process, and remaining tasks which are short duration tasks, they are kept waiting in your ready queue. Okay, so this should not happen, and this what we have to do, we have to use some kind of algorithm to reduce this effect. Okay, so you can take the same example. Let's say P1 is having a CPU bound processes, whereas P3 and P3 and P2 are IO bound processes. Consider that scenario. So IO bound means they don't want CPU for their entire duration. They want only to start the process. After that, IO processor will be taking care of. But still, they have to be in waiting state for a long amount of time. Okay. So to overcome the problems of FCFS, another one was designed, that was SJF, that we have already discussed. So here what we are doing, we are taking the shortest job. Okay, whichever job is having shortest, that job we are taking and executing basing on the CPU burst. Okay, so it is quite easy to tell that when the jobs are given and visibly you know the burst time of each process, then it is quite easy for you to design the shortest time, which job takes the shortest time. But in real time it will not be like that, because processor do not know in advance which job is going to take how many seconds to execute. Okay, so you are not sure what will be the length of next CPU request. So this is one example. Whatever examples that I have shown in the PPT here, they are taken from Galvin, so you can refer to that one. And in all the cases, they have taken the arrival time as 0, so it will be quite easy for you to calculate. And another variation, that is with arrival time they have taken, and with preemption, shortest remaining time first, that also we have shown. Next is priority. So that the algorithm that we have discussed today. So a number priority integer is attached with the each process. The smaller the number, high the priority. But always just read the question carefully. If there is special mention about high priority or high integer, high priority, whatever interpretation is given, just read the question carefully, because the one which we have solved in today's lecture, there it was specifically mentioned, वहाँ पे mention किया था high number, high priority ऐसा. Now again it can be preemptive and non-preemptive. So preemptive, we have solved the preemptive example. Non-preemptive is you don't stop in between, you just complete to its execution. Okay. Now, in what problem you have in the preemptive scheduling? So if you clearly see the one we have executed here, P1 process has arrived at 0th instant, but it is getting the CPU you see at the 8th instant. I mean, it is taking the maximum time to complete. Okay, because it is having a priority 10, and we have told that high number and high priority. So you are giving priority only to the higher processes only. You are giving to priority to higher ranked processes. So this way, this P1 process keeps on going into the waiting state. It's okay that in our numerical we don't have any process after the 4th instant. Now if imagine having so many processes and that are also of high priority, so in that case what happens, P1 will be going into waiting state indefinitely. Okay, so this problem that we call it as starvation. Low priority processes may never get a chance to execute, because you are giving priority to high priority processes, and as well as you are going with the preemptive algorithms. Okay, so one solution is aging. Aging is a technique where what you do, as the time progresses, you increase the priority of the process. Like in our example, P1 was executed last. So as with respect to time, you can increase the priority of P1 so that high priority processes don't let it starve. Okay. And the next is round robin, that also explained to you, where you have a time quantum of 10 to 100 milliseconds. It depends. After this time has elapsed, the process is preempted and added at the end of ready queue. Okay, so if there are n processes in the ready queue and time quantum is q, each process get 1 nth. Okay, 1 by nth time of CPU. Okay, now deciding the time quantum is a huge question, like how you decide the time quantum. If you are taking larger time quantums, it will act as FIFO, that is first in first out, or FCFS. Okay, and if your time quantum is quite small, then you will be having lot of context switching. If you have lot of context switching, again, you know, it is a overhead only, because we are not doing any useful work. You are just changing the context. You are saving and reloading the processes only. Okay, you are not doing any meaningful work. So you have to choose your time quantum when your processes are designed, or when operating system is designed. You have to choose it quite wisely. Okay, so this is again same input and the parameters with TQ4. Okay, here one example is given. So a process which is having 10 as the burst time, if you take TQ is equals to 12, there is no need to do a context switch, because time is 10 and TQ is 12, so you can execute one process in one time quantum itself. Okay, whereas if you take time TQ is equals to 6, then the process will be executing for 6 seconds, and after that it will be switching to another process, and after that again it will be start executing. So you need one context switch. And if you are taking time quantum is equals to 1, for the same process to execute, it requires 9 times context switching is required. Okay, so as the quantum, if you see, is decreasing, the context switches are keeping on increasing. Okay, and when the process size is constant. So one what do you call example is given, where you have 4 processes and these are the burst times. Okay, so if you see this, all the 4 processes are executed, that means you draw the Gantt chart taking TQ equal to 1, TQ equal to 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, so if you take all the time quantums and draw the Gantt charts and calculate the average turnaround time, calculate the average turnaround time and plot it. Once you plot it, then you can see when the time quantum is 6. Okay, when the time quantum is 6, then you are having 6 and 7, you are having the turnaround time to be minimum. Okay, that means the conclusion can be derived like 80% of CPU burst, that means 80% of your processor burst time should be shorter than your time quantum. So time quantum, if you are taking TQ is equal to 6, 80% of your processes must be less than or equal to this TQ, then you can get good turnaround time. I mean less average turnaround time. Okay, good in the sense less. Clear? Is this understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so that is all about the 4 various scheduling algorithms. Another set of algorithms, that is multi-level queue scheduling and all those things, that we will be discussing in the next lecture. Numerical part will be completed now. Next concepts are all theoretical only. What is multi-level queue and how it is done and all those things. So one more lecture and we will be finishing this concept of queue. Oh, sorry, scheduling. Okay. So if you have any questions, you can ask.